Morley Notes, October 7th, 2021. Baba says the word for bhakti in English is philosophy. The Hindu scholars receive the title of Doctor of Philosophy. Both the educated and the uneducated know of this philosophy. This is a reference to Advaita Vedanta. Anyone who adheres to this philosophy would say that God is omnipresent. This concept is part of that philosophy. Shiv Baba does not discuss anything that belongs to that philosophy. None of those scholars could claim to be the ocean of knowledge. Neither do they know spiritual knowledge, nor are they children of the ocean of knowledge. None of them knows the Father, who is the ocean of knowledge. None of them considers themselves to be a child of God. Yet all of them engage in religious activities for the purpose of finding God. It seems pointless for them to engage in religious rituals based in the philosophy of Vedanta, since they do not know God. Many of them have studied in the universities and attained the title of Doctor of Philosophy. Their understanding is that there is only one thing, Advaita, which implies that God is omnipresent, or that everything is God. They consider this to be correct philosophy, but as a consequence, they fall into decline. This is the meaning of the term dharmaglani. This expression, dharmaglani, comes in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita and is the most quoted verse of the Gita. The complete verse says something like this: whenever there is the extreme of dharmaglani and incorrect understanding of the laws of karma, which means people perform corrupt karma, then I come and deconstruct that philosophy and inform the world of correct spiritual information. This verse is considered to be the promise of God. We would not debate the scriptures with the authorities of Advaita Vedanta. We are studying with one who is not a human. The philosophy of Advaita Vedanta is taught by humans to each other. The Vedas and other scriptures are formulated by human beings and studied by people. The one who is telling you this spiritual knowledge is the spiritual father of all souls. He comes only one time during the cycle of time to explain this information. You cannot learn this from any human being. This is being told to you by the spiritual father directly. The listeners are the spiritual children who are souls. All the religious authorities are mortals. This knowledge is being given by the spiritual father, the Supreme Soul. Those who are hearing it and listening are his spiritual children, the souls. The religious philosophy of Advaita Vedanta is told by mortals to mortals. This is the spiritual knowledge of the spiritual Father, and that is human knowledge. This Brahma Baba is a mortal human being. The spiritual Father is speaking through this man, and we spirits are listening. Through the mediums of our own bodies, we spirits are telling this information to others. This is called spiritual knowledge. All other information is called physical knowledge. That means it is derived through observation and experience. Mortal human beings observe and experience natural phenomena through their sense organs. Spiritual knowledge cannot be discovered. This knowledge can only be revealed by God, who is the knower of spiritual knowledge. Hindu religious practices involve worshipping physical images. The Father says, "You should not consider yourselves to be mortal bodies or Hindu devotees. You should consider yourselves to be souls and establish yourselves in communion with me, the Supreme Soul. All of you souls are brothers." It is sung, there is a saying, that the souls and the Supreme Soul remained separated for a long time, and ultimately there was the beautiful meeting through the broker. This implies that we should not listen to material that arises from human mortals. If anyone questions you about this, tell them that we are not discussing the knowledge that is found in the scriptures of Advaita Vedanta. We consider that to be philosophy that belongs to the path of Advaita Vedanta Hinduism. The knowledge that enables an individual to attain salvation can only be given by the Supreme Father. It is said that the bestower of salvation for all is only the One. You children need not debate these points with anyone. God gives Gati and Sadgati. Gati means he takes all souls to the state of liberation in the soul world. Sadgati, or salvation, means to incarnate on earth at the beginning of the time cycle as a deity in the beginning of the Golden Age. The incorporeal Supreme Soul teaches that karma which enables a soul to attain Sadgati, and Sadgati also means to arrive at the right destination. The spiritual Father is speaking. He says, "I am the authority of knowledge. I am the ocean of knowledge. I do not tell you anything that is contained in the scriptures of Advaita Vedanta. I am telling you the spiritual knowledge that is contained within me. All other information including what is contained in religious scriptures, comes from a human source. That means it is knowledge of the material world. Hindu religious gatherings are all part of present-day Hinduism. The spiritual father is sitting here and explaining to you spirits. And this is why it is hard for you to establish yourselves in soul consciousness. You still consider yourselves to be physical bodies, and you identify with your gender, race, caste, culture, language, religion, etc. We souls are taking our inheritance from the Father. The knowledge that is contained within the spiritual father is our inheritance. The children, or the sons of a father, would definitely have the right to take his seat. Lakshmi and Narayan are mortal human beings with their own bodies. Their son receives the physical inheritance of the throne of the kingdom from his father. This inheritance from the spiritual father is something quite different. In the Golden Age, everything is about the material world. At that time, no one will say that they received their inheritance from the spiritual father. You have to break free from the influence of your body and your bondage to your body and physical identity. We are souls, and we must establish ourselves in communion with the Father. This is that very same ancient yoga of India. The word yad, meaning remembrance, is a Hindi word. Now, who is giving this knowledge to us? No human being knows this information. For many births, mortals have been talking with other mortals. Now, the spiritual father is talking to his spiritual children. The father of the souls is talking to the souls. A spirit is speaking, and therefore this is called spiritual knowledge. People consider that the Gita contains spiritual knowledge. However, they have placed the name of Krishna, who is a mortal physical person, as the speaker of the Gita. A mortal person with their own physical body cannot be the spirit who speaks spiritual knowledge. The Father says it is not possible for a mortal human being to have this information within them. If anyone wishes to debate this with you, you must tell them they represent the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta, which is also called Bhakti. It is knowledge that was formulated by human beings. True knowledge is only with the ocean of knowledge, the Father, and He Himself is giving this knowledge. He is called the spiritual father. Religious people worship the incorporeal one, represented by the Shivalingam. If you are worshipping the incorporeal one, it implies that you are his children. You create saligrams out of clay and worship them. You also create Rudrayagyas. You know that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, dwells in the incorporeal world. In the Gita, it says clearly that God dwells in Paramdham. We souls also originally dwell there. That one, the ocean of knowledge, comes and speaks this knowledge through which he enables all souls to return back to the soul world. That one is the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, who dwells in the dimension beyond all material dimensions, that is, Nirvana. All souls are brothers, and they all contain a pre-recorded, predestined role that they play out on the earth. When the soul incarnates on earth, it takes a body. In that case, the souls become brothers and sisters because the bodies may be either male or female. But all souls are the sons of the one Father. When the soul takes a body in heaven, there is happiness and prosperity, while in hell there is suffering and poverty. Why is it like that? The Supreme Father explains that there is Gyan, knowledge, and there is Bhakti. Bhakti is defined as incorrect information. When there is Gyan, which is true information, there is the day or the period of enlightenment. And when there is Bhakti, untrue information, then there is darkness, which is also called the dark night of the soul. The story of the world, which is like a three-dimensional film, is like that. It is not true to say that God created a world of happiness and sorrow. There is a spiritual law which says that you only call on God when you are in a state of extreme distress and impurity. This is because you believe that God will relieve your sorrow and give you happiness. He does indeed show you how to be free from your sorrow, and he explains to you what is needed so that you take birth at the beginning of the Golden Age in the world of heaven. But then, when that time has passed, there is the period of sorrow. Your experience of sorrow and distress is due to performing karma on the basis of the 5 vices. This is the nature of the game. You need to understand it accurately. The detailed explanation of this game is called spiritual knowledge. All other concepts are called knowledge about the material world and include the laws of matter, but not the laws of spirit. The Supreme Father does not discuss the laws of matter. We have received the instruction from God. He says, "Just remember me, your incorporeal Father, and listen only to me." The Father says, "Do not listen to untrue information." We therefore listen only to the one God. The people who adhere to Advaita Vedanta listen to mortal human beings. There is a vast difference between these two. The eminent scholars study the scriptures. We have also studied all of these. Now, God Himself is saying that you have followed many gurus. Now leave them and listen only to what I am telling you. God is incorporeal and His name is Shiva. Now we are listening to what He says. The Father Himself is defining Himself and informing us of the details of the beginning, continuation, and end of the creation. In such a situation, it is meaningless for us to listen to matters contained in scriptures. We can explain to you what spiritual knowledge is. There is no need to argue. The whole world is standing on one side, and you are so few on the other side. The Father is now telling you, remember me, and the burden of sin that is upon you will get lightened, and you will become pure. Those who do become pure will become the masters of the pure world. Now, the world is changing. After Kali Yuga is destroyed, there will be Satyuga, the Golden Age. The Golden Age is the pure world. In the Iron Age, you call me to come and create the pure world. I have now come, and you must now focus your attention on me exclusively. Now, the world is changing. This is your last life in this cycle. The rule of violence and untruth that reigns over this world is now to be destroyed, and in its place the kingdom of Ram is being established. Therefore, during this your last life, you must live like a lotus in the context of your home and family in perfect purity. Life today is like a ship floundering in a poisonous ocean. A lotus flower grows above, detached from the filthy waters below. So now you must live in this poisonous social context like a lotus flower and make yourself completely pure. You children know that we are creating a new kingdom. Now the entire world is changing. The founders of the religions simply established their own cultures. Initially they are pure, and gradually they become corrupt. The Satguru is the one, and he alone can give salvation. People take gurus because they wish to go into salvation. When the level of sin reaches its extreme, the spiritual father begins to speak the knowledge which is the truth. The ultimate result of the search for truth through studying the scriptures is that finally you encounter God. God does not teach you Advaita Vedanta or any other religious practice. He gives Gyan, spiritual knowledge. He says, remember me exclusively, and then your negative karma will be destroyed. There is no other way to achieve purity. In the New World, all are the dwellers of heaven. Now the world is old, and all are living in hell. And this is why the Father says, I have come to uplift everyone. I have come for this specific purpose of giving you spiritual information. The Father defines and describes himself. I am your Father. The present time is called hell. The new world is called heaven. How can you possibly say that the world today is both heaven and hell? You think people with a lot of money are in heaven. Heaven exists in the new world. How could it be heaven here? We do not listen to people who are this much illogical and incoherent. The Father says, I have come to change you from Tamopradhan to Satopradhan, from old and rotten to new and pristine. And therefore, you must remain in communion with me exclusively. Think deeply about this information throughout the day. Om Shanti.